The last few weeks I've been talking about book clubs, so I thought I'd do the same today. In 2004, the Richard and Judy book club was added as a regular segment of their TV magazine show. It was credited as having a massive effect on sales of the books it featured, much like Oprah's book club in the US. Each year, the segment featured 10 books and discussions during the programme, often with guests. Alongside the discussions and programme features, the novels contended for the Richard and Judy Book of the Year award, presented at the British Book Awards, where the winner was chosen by votes by the public. The first winner in 2004 was The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold. As well as it being an excellent book, it's quite an upsetting story, so I'll leave you to look that one up if you're interested. It beat the likes of Brick Lane by Monica Ali, The No by Martina Cole, Zoe Heller's Notes on a Scandal, and David Nicholls' Starter for 10, with many of those being adapted for film. The second winner from 2005 was Cloud Atlas by David Mitchell. The book combines metafiction, historical fiction, contemporary fiction, and science fiction, with the interconnected, nested stories in different writing styles that take the readers from the remote South Pacific in the 19th century to the island of Hawaii in a distant post-apocalyptic future. It beat some other great books: The Time Traveller's Wife by Audrey Niffenegger, My Sister's Keeper by Jodi Picolt, and Carlos Ruiz Zafón's The Shadow of the Wind. The 2006 winner was Labyrinth by Kate Mosse. No, not the supermodel, the super author. She founded the Women's Prize for Fiction, which is one of the most prestigious literary awards. Labyrinth, arguably her most famous work, is an archaeological mystery set both in the Middle Ages and present-day France. It divides two main storylines that follow two protagonists, Alais from the year 1209 and Alice in the year 2005. The two stories occur in a shared geography and intertwine. Ultimately, the story becomes a quest for the Holy Grail. It was the second best-selling book in the UK in 2006 after The Da Vinci Code, and beat Michael Connelly's The Lincoln Lawyer to win the Richard and Judy Book Club Book of the Year. And the 2008 winner was 1,000 Splendid Suns by Afghan-American author Khaled Hosseini. It followed the huge success of his best-selling 2003 debut, The Kite Runner. Miriam, an illegitimate teenager from Herat, is forced to marry a shoemaker from Kabul after a family tragedy. Layla, born a generation later, lives a relatively privileged life, but her life intersects with Miriam's when a similar tragedy forces her to accept a marriage proposal from Miriam's husband. The author has remarked that he regards the novel as a mother-daughter story, in contrast to The Kite Runner, which he considers a father-son story. It continues some of the themes used in his previous work, such as family dynamics, but instead focusing primarily on female characters and their roles in contemporary Afghan society. When asked about the inspiration for the book, Khaled said, "I had been entertaining the idea of writing a story of Afghan women for some time, and after I'd finished writing The Kite Runner. In the spring of 2003, I went to Kabul, and I recall seeing these burqa-clad women sitting at street corners with 4, 5, 6 children begging for change. I remember watching them walking in pairs up the street, trailed by their children in ragged clothes, and wondering how life had brought them to that point. I spoke to many of these women, and their stories were truly heartbreaking." An interesting mix this
and
week.
a good morning to you too.
Yes.
Savage.
Oh, I mean, really. Absolutely. In the first one, The Lovely Bones, I know that through my daughter, and she got me to read it, and it traumatized me for years.
Yeah, it's very sad.
In fact, even now, if something happens, I get like there's something that flashbacks, and it's like really traumatizing. I mean, I think to know that those type of things happen is horrific. To accept that reality.
I always find it quite hard to read books that upset me. You know, I think people get something from it, but I sort of read to escape rather than read, because it always sticks in, like you said, it sticks in my head, and then I'm like, actually, I feel sad now.
Well, same with
Do
films.
you know- yeah,
I don't
it's-
really want to watch a sad
No,
film.
I don't.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think, but I think I get people like that. But for me, I want to like read something that.
When I was younger,
Yeah.
I liked horror, and the things didn't affect me. I don't
Yeah.
think the same as they do
Yeah.
now.
So it's funny because horror I don't mind because I'm like that kind of gives me the fear and then I'm over it. But it's when I'm sad.
Yeah,
Things
it's
like
stays.
Ricky Gervais's what's the series
Oh
called?
yeah, with
Oh,
the
right,
spirit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, it's amazing. You've got to watch
I
it.
can't
I'm
watch
like,
it.
No,
No, I don't watch it.
I am not watching that.
That's why I haven't seen
Yeah.
the movie Adolescence either.
No, don't watch it.
I don't need to watch aggression. I mean, it's one thing
So
having
negative,
it. If
aren't
you've
we?
got to deal with it, you deal with it.
Yeah.
But to just for gratuitously, let's watch some violence or
No,
grief.
no,
Oh no,
it's not
I'm
me
down for a
either.
bit of violence.
Yeah,
We know.
yeah, I like action. It's the sadness I can't deal with. It's
Yeah,
definitely
yeah,
the
yeah.
sadness. It's too much for me. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah. So not the sad ones. Then.
Not the sad
but
ones.
also, like, it's amazing how books like that can really bring out an emotion in you. Like, such a
Yeah,
strong,
Definitely.
like,
Yeah,
impact.
visceral.
Yeah.
It's the
visceral.
visual that gets me. How can you have such a strong visual for something you haven't actually seen?
Yeah, because you make
The
the,
power
image
of
up in your own
evoking
mind. It's
images.
probably different for everybody.
No, and exactly, and everyone's got a whole different story going
Yeah,
on based
yeah,
on the
yeah,
same
yeah.
words. That I find fascinating.
But it's totally true that, you know, you might have been more interested in these things when you're younger, but I think the more you go through life and the more you experience sad things, the more you can relate to other people's sadness, and it brings up the
Emotion in you.
sadness in you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel the same about music. When I was a teenager, I used to love belting out all the ballads, the Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, all that kind of stuff. Now I can appreciate the
Yeah, the
voice,
words.
but I would never listen to that part.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
And
yeah.
2 hours of bread.
It's so
music.
true.
I found a
I wouldn't
diary.
sit in my
It's all
room
very
belting out Mariah Carey. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
The moment's
interesting.
past.
Funny, the beauty of youth, that
Yeah.
innocence, of it,
Yeah.
just experimenting all the emotions, and none of them are good or bad. They're just
Yeah.
Feelings.
emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, songs like All By Myself. You know, when you're younger, you can belt it out and you think, oh, now why would I want to sing about that?
I'm really lonely.
Yeah.
Why?
Reality sunk in.
I'm all by myself.
I think girls just want to have fun.
Yeah, in a tuk-tuk.
In a tuk-tuk, yes. I'm having a tuk-tuk too. Well, we've established that at least here on the sofa, we would rather read happy books.
Yes.
But all of the ones that you mentioned, and the last one as well, very
Yeah.
Thought-provoking.
very
Really
thought-provoking, and I think
thought-provoking.
it is good to have an idea what goes on in other parts of the
Yeah, and
world.
awareness. It's good to have an
Definitely,
awareness.
definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And again, it makes you appreciate more what you have and makes you realise how lucky we are to be born into the families and the countries that we've been born into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. In fact, the other day I was walking out of a place, I'd just come from the beach with the kids, and I had like just a beach wrap on, but I came smack into my Moroccan neighbours, and I could just see the face of the woman look at me, and she did the up, and I actually felt uncomfortable, like,
Oh no.
oh, do you know what I mean? But then
Yeah.
in the sense of even I felt, well, maybe I am underdressed kind of thing, but seeing
you're
the comparable. But again, it's just like how lucky that that's okay.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
was a bit moved to the side and wasn't quite centered.
Yeah.
Could've
Shoulders
been
shoulders
worse.
back.
They could have come out. They could have
that
come
mean?
out to me in my mankini.
Yeah, that would have been worse.
We need our psychologist here. We've got bullying going on.